Patsy Davis, Lou Noble, R. Joshua Collins, and Charles Fuller.
Welcome.
Welcome. Thank you, Tom. My name is Patsy Davis, and I sleep at Maxwell Park on Magnolia and Broadway. I've been there homeless for a long, long time, and the police been coming taking my stuff, and they have an attitude, especially the sergeant, Bozo, and he had threatened everybody at the park while we were sleeping by the bathroom. 3:30 in the morning, wake us up and tell us to leave and everything, and says that they're going to take all our stuff, and next time they see us by the bathroom sleeping in the park by 10:30, they're going to take all of us to jail. And I'm getting tired of it. My stuff gets taken at the park all the time, and I need my medicine. I got diabetes, high blood pressure, and I need my medicine, and I take my sugar in the morning, and sometimes it's so high that I don't have my needle and my insulin to take it and put it in my stomach. And I'm getting tired of it. You guys got to do something about this, especially Anaheim PD. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you, ma'am. Welcome.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. This morning we went to the Board of Supervisors meeting because we got a petition of 1,586 House people and signatures of 249 homeless people in Orange County. The Board of Supervisors had approved and they approved the 440 bed emergency shelters since December, and yet we had a storm. People got wet, sick, and they're still out there. Instead of getting a shelter, or emergency shelter, at least that big parking lot right behind that alley where they were staying, the police came and just threw everybody before the next rain came. They all had their wet clothes and wet deals that they just tossed in the trash. The ordinance or whatever happened here, it got a lot worse because now they're not only infringing on the Fourth Amendment right, but they're infringing on the Eighth Amendment right by giving them too many citations and giving them uncruel punishment of harassing them. Now, we're still hoping that they do something fast before the next storm because there's people dying out there. Just in the last year, homeless death increased by 45%, and they're thinking it's going to increase more this year if we just keep on waiting. I got a call over here and see if it works.
If you can sweep unjust privilege into the dead past, if you can show the dispossessed and the diseased and the hungry and the untaught that there is a better life for them and a fair place in the sun for their children, if you can do these things, then all of us will take heart from your example, and this continent can take its place in the modern world.
That was Kennedy back in 1966, and he's actually talking to representatives here. That you have to give an example because by your example, the community will see that, and they will be more humble and compassion towards the homeless out there. Many misconceptions. There's veterans, there's disabled people out there, there's elderly, there's women running away from abusive homes.
Mr. Noble, I'm sorry, sir, but your time is up.
I just hope things do, that we have an emergency shelter, a big tent right there before the next storm, because people will die, and it's going to be on the blood's going to be on somebody's hand here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Joshua Collins, and for those of you that have a heart for the homeless, I have a Facebook group, Homeless Advocates for Christ, that you can join. And I'd like to read this. Patsy Davis, 60 years old, police taking her basic necessities of life, and she gives her story, and Mayor Tate and everyone, they just thank you by, it just shows me a lot of complacency, like people don't care. That's what I see here. And the Bible says, blessed are those that hunger and thirst for righteousness. I mean, do you really hunger for that, or do you just not care? That's what I see, very bothersome. And the police have begun going back into the parks at 3:30 a.m. and taking everyone's property. Now, I understand the parks are closed. Fine, give them a ticket for, being in the park after hours. But why are you going to take their blankets and their basic necessities? That's what's happening now again. So it's ridiculous. It's theft. It's a violation of Fourth Amendment rights. And shame on Anaheim for this. So complacency kills. You're going to sit back and just let it happen. It shows me this isn't a city of kindness. It's a facade. So I encourage you to make the city truly a city of kindness. Reach across the chasm. In the rich man Lazarus story, right? The rich man was on one side of the chasm. The poor man Lazarus on the other side, right? And you have a choice to either get out there and see what's happening, or stay on your side. But the rich man went to hell. Luke chapter 16. That's what happened. And Lazarus, the poor man, Now the interesting thing is, the rich man didn't put him in jail. The rich man didn't take his stuff. The rich man just didn't do anything. Okay? He was complacent. Saw him every day, beggar out there, right? Doing his own thing. Dies and goes to hell. Okay? Where you at? That's my question for you. So I hope you make the right choice and do the right thing. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Collins, I appreciate you coming here most weeks, being an advocate for the homeless. They certainly need advocates. This isn't on the agenda tonight, so we're limited on what we can discuss. But the city has done, I believe, more than any city certainly in Orange County, and certainly a city in the past, and Anaheim's ever done in the past. There's a homeless shelter that's going up that the county has not been able to get in all of its years. And plus, through the Coming Home Anaheim program, 450 people who were homeless now have a shelter over their head. Not solely work of, or not the work of the city in managing that or paying for it, but the community coming together, but through leadership of the city and CityNet and whatnot. We're trying. Obviously we have ways to go, but we're trying, and we're making. I believe we're moving in the right direction. We're making progress. Certainly isn't complacency. A lot of it we don't know what to do. Frankly, and everyone's different, as you know. Every individual's different. You can't say everybody can go to this shelter. Everyone does this. Or everyone has addiction issues or mental illness. Everyone's different. So we're trying to treat people that way as individuals and humanity. And no, we're not perfect. We don't claim to be, but we're trying. We're trying as hard as I believe the city's ever tried in the past. And I appreciate your advocacy. That's part of makes the system, moves the system, and we're trying. So thank you for being here.
Well, this one thing I know, in Las Vegas and Sin City, there was a lot less property theft, right, from homeless people. I have never, in my time traveling on the streets, preaching on the West Coast for over probably 14 years now, seen this much theft from homeless people. Ridiculous. And then you guys need to do something about that. And you passed that law about no property storage, right? And now they're using that to take their property. You guys got to do something about that.
Yeah. I've already gone beyond where I should with the Brown Act not allowing us to discuss things on the agenda, but I appreciate your comments, and I'll ask our staff to look into the situation earlier.
Thank you. Yeah, please get this on the agenda.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, everybody. Jose Paulo Macallis. I teach at Loretta High School, and I am also an Anaheim resident since the first grade. Go Claire Barton Bees. I'm here today to show my support for that parent that was here earlier in our school's band. Like you said, Mr. Mayor, Tom Tate, our band is spectacular. You know, in 2007, 2008 during inauguration, and 2009, I took 3 groups of students to our to DC, and I even took them 3 a.m. to see Obama's inauguration speech. Man, was it cold! And you know, a lot of the kids, and there's just, like I said before, and time, our school is becoming so much more civically engaged. It is fantastic. I mean, we got Mitcha outside. We have my ethnic studies group here that's studying the very issues that are happening with their community. I'm so proud. So, you know, in fact, I invite the whole community to come on April 20th, come to our civics fair, see what the kids have been doing in the community. I mean, just a couple weeks ago, they were at La Palma Park feeding the homeless. Student-led, not teacher-led. I do not indoctrinate my kids. I just give them the tools to think for themselves as citizens of this great nation that we live in.
So, does anyone else like to speak? Welcome.
Well, I want to lend my voice to against the STRs, that I hope that you stop or abolish that, because it seems like there's more and more people that live here that are really being disrupted. But I want to set that aside for a second and tell you what's on my heart with regards to homelessness. You have called this a city of kindness. I was wondering if it's possible to find out how much budget you have that is allotted for homelessness, or the problem that is continuing to grow in Anaheim. There's all kinds of budgets, and I know you're balancing things, and we always see a lot of things going to Disney and the big corporations and other issues. But I just wondered, is there a budget, and where does that come from? Who oversees that? That's one question. The second is it possible, Mayor Tate, that you could write, since it is the city of kindness and we're getting towards Valentine's Day, you might designate maybe a day of kindness to focus on the homeless, write an open letter to the whole city, because this young man, this teacher, these people that are trying to make a difference and do something, so that there's not a stigma, so that children don't look at them. It's the same thing as bullying, isn't it? When you think about it, you know, if somebody tells you something that you don't know, you're going to follow your friends and say, yeah, this person is, you know, they're a drug dealer or they're bad people. Why don't they have a home? There's a stigma out there, and it's really horrible given the cold and the rain and all the things we've seen lately around the world, on the East Coast, let alone here in Anaheim, that those folks and kids sometimes are sleeping on the cold, hard ground. And I know that there's raids, and I know the police take their things sometimes, but can we bring it down to the smallest denominator, which is one person at a time, meaning you, the mayor, and the powers that be? How about an open letter to hear what Anaheim, all your residents, have to say on proposing a day of kindness for the homeless, targeted for Valentine's Day? See who from all of the schools, all your Rotary clubs, your Lions clubs, everybody that's got a business, who can donate a pair of socks, a hat, mittens, something, a blanket, to change the stigma of homelessness as far as people's perception. Right now, you were talking about the rentals and all the problems and stuff that happens, and trash and stuff. We have the same thing with people, with the homeless. That they leave a mess, there's needles, they're doing this and that. You've got a dog park, and the homeless are just moved someplace else. Instead of trying to get to know them, trying to find out. Every individual has a story. A lot of veterans are out there that fought for this country, living with PTSD. They don't just pay the ultimate price on the battleground and don't come back. They pay it because they're living with PTSD and they're living out on the streets. And it's very dishonorable. So I would just ask you, because you say in God we trust, I would just ask you, remember that Jesus said that these are the least of these. These are the least of these. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, that completes the speaker cards.
Is there anyone who would like to speak who has not turned in a card? Now's the time to do so. Welcome.
Thank you, Mayor Tate, and thank you, City Council members. I'm Victoria Michaels, 20-year resident of Anaheim. I just wanted to say something regarding the homeless situation, because what I did myself was to go out with CityNet on a Wednesday evening. Actually, been, I think, 2 or 3 times. And I want to talk about what I observed. There are 3 individuals that go out with CityNet, and they are from CityNet. And by the way, anyone can call them, call CityNet, and go out and see what type of outreach they're doing. There are 3 individuals, 2 police officers, and they offer services to the homeless who will accept them. And not all of them want services, and they don't make them accept services. They're kind, they're considerate, and they're compassionate. That's what I observed. The officers have received psychiatric training. The other thing is, unbeknownst to most people here, Councilman Vanderbilt spent 3 hours walking and learning about homeless concerns last week. He asked many questions and was, in my opinion, very concerned. Thank you, Mr. Vanderbilt, for caring. There's also a bus that picks up homeless persons in the afternoon and takes them to the armory, and they can spend the night in the armory, and then they have to leave the next morning because the National Guard has their exercises there. But I guess I get a little concerned that people may have the impression that nothing is being done. There is quite a bit being done, and some of us can also do our part. I've done some things for some of the homeless people. Just, there's a saying, there before the grace of God go I. So that's all I have to say about that. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And what's your situation? Me and my boyfriend's been out here off and on for 11 years, and I'm on housing, and I was told that when we became a senior that they move you up some, or if you have health issues. In April, he's got stents in his heart. He's had 4 heart attacks in April that collapsed. And I've got a lot of health issues, and I was honest with him and told him that we only lived together. We've been together for 11 years, and it hasn't moved me anywhere. I'm still homeless. Anytime I go there, she says, just write down what's changed, and she don't even look at it. Okay, has anybody offered you any shelter or nonprofits no, from CityNet? No. CityNet hasn't talked to you?
I don't know anything about CityNet.
Okay, yeah, because CityNet, you should get in contact because they have more options to go through. A lot of it's nonprofits.
Mercy House approved us for housing, but in the meantime, we rented a room from a girl, and it was like an emotional roller coaster. You never knew if you was going to be there the following week after you pay rent. Irene went through the same thing with the same person. And so that canceled us out with Mercy House. But we had to have somewhere to stay while we was waiting, trying to find a place.
Right.
And he gets widow's fund. He's just now filed for retirement. But they're taking out old child support. He can't get a driver's license. He had that taken away. He was a diesel mechanic, and he also worked for different Ford places. And because of the fact that he don't have a license no more, he can't even do that part-time.
Do you have any resources to pay for like a room?
I did SSI.
How about a room to, where you can pay $500 a month or so? Can you afford that? Or?
Yeah, we talked to Ralph that used to be with Mercy House. He used to be there at the Armory. And he said that he could make a deal with us because he's going to start renting rooms and stuff. But that we'd have to sleep with a bunch of other people for like $450 a piece.
Yeah, that's what I heard a lot, that people that pay $500, they get stuck with 4 or 5 people in a room. And that you could probably do, in a house, get a room for yourself for $500.
Yeah, well, for $500 we was renting a bedroom, but
like I said, with the woman, it was like an emotional roller coaster. She'd say, like when he had his heart attack, "You guys gotta move because I'm scared he's gonna die."
Oh, so that.
And I told her, I go, all that's doing is put more pressure on him.
Yeah, it was just they were thinking of their liability.
Yeah. And then we could stay. Then we couldn't. Then I broke my knee. So my son come down from the desert area because I had a son that died last year. So he come down to be with me and try to help me out. So he quit his job up there and he come down here, and she said it was fine. He was here 2 days, and all of a sudden she comes out of the bedroom yelling, screaming, "You got to get the F out of here. I'm calling the police." And so I took my son and left.
Yeah. So have you been here in La Palma Park for a while? Or
Yeah.
Do you know the situation? What's been happening here with law enforcement?
Yeah. Matter of fact, right now I got a warrant on a shopping cart for $1,500.
$1,500? They give you a ticket for $1,500?
Yeah, he gave me a ticket and wrote it up as if I stole the shopping cart, but I borrowed it from someone else to take my stuff from one side of the street to the other side.
Wow. Okay, you taking that to homeless court?
No,
Okay.
I haven't. I've been really sick lately.
Yeah, because that's what you need to do, because they'll drop it
Yeah.
right there.
truck. We're going downtown, gonna beat up drunks. You're to the drive, I'll bring the beer. It's a late, late shift, no one to fear. And ride, ride, how we ride. And ride, you ride. It's a roundup time with a good horse. We're gonna drive one screaming off the street and ride, ride, how we ride. Got a black uniform and a silver badge, late cop